Alright. So, yeah, it kind of overlays a little bit. Interface. HUD scale. Up. Hold on. HUD scale. Down. Interface. HUD scale. Bit farther down. Oh, that's pretty good. There we go. Enjoy. Now I can't see chat. So you could have clearly said something there, dude.
Me?
Yeah.
I could have said something?
Sure. We were still live.
Oh, well, I just kind of, I don't know.
It's alright.
It was a cursory glance at the stream earlier.
Yeah, that should make people...
I should have said something. I forgot about it.
That should help people be at ease of overlapping boxes. That's a real fear. People go to the hospital for that all the time. Alright, so what is oRb doing? They're hiding up here in this bush. That is a really cool looking Nautilus skin. I do like that Nautilus skin. Why is my music still on? There we go, get rid of that.
30 seconds until
So, after I do all that, Team Orbit here, up 1-0 in their series. They are on Team Purple, although I do got colorblind mode on for all you colorblind summoners out there. So Team Red invading the jungle, going right past the blue. Does have the clairvoyance down.
Oh gosh, poor Parole.
Yeah.
Parole.
Is he going to get hit from behind? Poor little Yordle.
I think they're going to see him.
Are they? Let's check it out. I got
it's
F2
just
on.
It depends on whether or not they're coming in as a group. They don't know he's there yet, but he's actually going to walk right into him. So, oh, he's so close to breaking the bush. Is actually kind of a little bit scared, so actually just running into that top lane. We're actually going to see a top lane. I guess Janna's going to come up top again, unless they're going to just allow Janna to roam a little bit. That's definitely a possibility.
Could be Janna bot, just by
herself. Tristana can be pretty safe against Renekton, has that ranged harass. That would be kind of an interesting thing. I mean, they have a lot of versatility in their lanes, and both teams have a lot of strengths. I mean, Ahri obviously is kind of a counter to Cassiopeia a little bit. Cassiopeia just really fast at taking like buffs and dragon and whatnot, so it'll be interesting, that aggression.
Oh, the blue reset. Guess what? Soraka's going to come in here and notice that people are doing this blue. Oh yeah, did she actually show herself? No, she didn't, but oh, there's one bad red with the stun from across the wall into the Phoenix stance. And that is a blunder for the ages.
Wow, and actually Parole getting the slow on Devek. We will have the snare. Actually, Takashi didn't get the snare, so they're still chasing. But there's the auto attack with the ignite, able to pick up the kill. And the big thing, like you said, was we had the reset on the blue. Brad was able to take his red and then come up in time to get the blue. And now he's taking Nautilus's blue. He's going to be able to get the wraiths as well. Nautilus just now coming back. So a huge early advantage. Top lane 2-1. They have the 2v1 against Renekton. Renekton cannot lane against a Tristana Soraka. Like, it just cannot happen. And then Nautilus already behind. This game is like borderline over, but we have Udyr coming in this mid lane. We'll be able to get a gank off onto Cassiopeia. There's the flash.
Excellent
we do
flash.
Not get the stun.
Yeah.
So perfectly timed flash getting right over him. But this is just huge. It's going to be so difficult for oRb to come back in this game now.
Well, that's a terrible precedent to post, because that was the first blood. That was a very important buff, not now garnered. And oh, he just finally reconnects. That is gonna hurt this early game for sure. You think it's borderline over just from that?
We'll have to see. I mean, there's still a lot of potential for oRb. They have a lot of strengths. Nautilus still has a lot of ganking potential. The concern is Brad already has a kill. He's already 3 levels ahead of Nautilus. He's actually only 2 levels, but he's close to getting this last level. One more minion will get it. And so he's actually camping Nautilus here. Here he's coming in. He has that double buff. He's going to be able to get some damage. Nautilus is going to have such a difficult time jungling. And the thing with Nautilus is he's a decent jungler. He's a pretty fast jungler. But if he's behind, he doesn't have a good means of catching up. And Udyr is just one of the most aggressive junglers in the game. He's just going to be a bully all game, not allow him to get into it. So we actually see oRb. All 4 of them have to come over here, help Nautilus get this blue. They know that they can't just allow him to fall behind, and that's the kind of pressure that already we have coming off in this game. It's going to be so difficult for oRb, and I don't know how Renekton is going to be farming in this top lane.
Well, so far he's just not. He's at 7 creep kills,
right.
But Tristana 26. And this lane is going to start pushing by itself. Every time Tristana kills something, boom, off. Everything just explodes around him. So he is going to be missing out on a lot of farm. No joke.
But the big thing is this is actually the ganking opportunity for Fornot. If they come in on Renekton, they have the level advantage top, and Udyr is level 4, so they're actually not going to go for it. It seemed like that was a lot of potential, but in the meantime, Link is kind of trapped here. We have the Spirit Fire going off from Takashi. There's the Charm as well. We'll be pretty safe. He's got to get out of there. There's the Ignite going off, so Takashi going to go down, but Fornot able to pick up another kill as well. Takashi needed to get out of there a little bit sooner. He knew that they had the kill already kind of secured. We had the team all grouping up, but even so, just great presence from Fornot so far in this game.
It's a very big early game advantage. Nearly 2,000 gold in the lead, 3-1, 5 minutes in, and Pearl's up 2-0 as an AD carry. That's pretty nuts.
Oh man, you just see the damage going off top lane. Like Renekton can't even get in range to Q the creeps because Tristana's going to wear down his healing, obviously, and just has so much rest. Janna, on the other hand, can 1v2 very effectively. Has the shield to kind of protect himself. Has the whirlwinds, so the long range farming there. Obviously, Zekent's going to want to let them push under the tower some, so that, you know, Janna can farm a little bit better under tower, but even so, Janna's going to be a little bit safer than Renekton is. Yeah,
I was looking at Yoda, it's like, why is Yoda just standing there? He is not having a fun time. And unfortunately, this is not Tournament Realm, which means we have no pause function. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. We actually see Lemon Nation doing a pretty effective job against Zekent, zoning him in this lane, and Lulu does have a lot of harass, so, you know, that'll be interesting to kind of see that matchup. We have a little bit of ability power. We already have a Philosopher's Stone onto Janna, so the big thing is that Janna doesn't need that many items to be effective, and Brad coming in, he has the oracles, so he knows there's no wards here. He's going to come in for an aggressive gank, going to get the stun off onto Lulu, so Lulu very close to going down, will have that little squirrel function going off there, throwing off the flash, but no, there's the heal actually, so another stun is going to do it. We'll be able to get that kill. And another disconnect, Pearl going down. That's a little bit surprising.
Well, at least he'll have a lot of money when he gets back, but I have no words for this game at this point. I mean, it's an awesome start for Fornot, which is exactly what they need to tie up the series, but at the same time, we're being plagued by so many disconnection issues. I wonder if it has anything to do with that active game not found thing. There goes oRb Yoda again, just as he gets back, starts off those wraiths, and is punted right back out. Sad to see.
I don't know. Yeah. That's an interesting bug that I haven't heard of before. But I don't know. Regardless, I mean, like we were kind of saying, so, you know, bottom lane doing a very effective job holding out Zeke, and he's not farming very well, but Janna doesn't need as much farm as Renekton does. Renekton, obviously, because he needs to be right up front, I don't know, he's just going to fall off so quickly if he doesn't have that early farm. He does hit level 6 though now, so we'll see if he starts jungling a little bit. He can steal some CS there, but obviously Nautilus at level 2 is just absolutely devastating. It's going to be so difficult for oRb right now, and I know that they had, you know, such great hopes for how this game was going to go. That a really aggressive team, Renekton, Nautilus, all this damage centered around Kog. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they can come back at all, or if Fortnite will just kind of have the slow push, just carry it on into game number 3.
Well, Bloodwater's going mono Croc up top, and you know, this is going to be big for Renekton because he can get all that back. Zeken's running the double gold per 10, but he's starting to take a lot of ranged harass from Hood Stomp. So after getting, you know, zoned out, he is at 26 creep kills, but yeah, Kog'Maw's just having a farm fest at 66 at this point. He's actually highest in the game at this exact moment.
Yeah, but we actually have the flash in from One Bad Brad. There's the ultimate with Takashi, and there's the quick kill into Cassiopeia. Ahri, you know, I said it earlier, but really just such a strong counter to Cassiopeia because Cassiopeia isn't a mobile champion, has kind of short range. You have good range harass, but obviously Ahri can just kind of dash all around, pick up those kills, and having a jungler this far ahead in the game, it really just doesn't leave you a whole lot of room for error, or a whole lot of room for anything, really.
5-1, up nearly 3k at this point. Fornot doing well. Blue buff now picked up for Udyr as we just kind of hold our lanes at this point. I mean, we got the kill advantage, but we are missing Tristana, who started off phenomenally, but longer and longer this game goes, farther and farther down she's going to get. It does look like oRb is actually, there we go, solidified his connection. He's going to be trying to get himself that red buff, but he's having trouble.
he's going to have the smite, but the concern is that Udyr is going to come up here, doesn't know it's down. We'll see if he goes in this bush. Oh,
you're kidding.
Gosh, that's... Brad, leave him.
Yeah.
Let him be.
Good guy, Brad.
Good guy, Brad.
Man, oh man.
That's kind of like, it's just weird. It's hard to even negotiate with that, but Cassiopeia able to pick up the blue buff, will have that, you know, ranged farming ability. We'll see, you know, right now Fortnite coming in for the blue, trying to see if they can steal that. Parole did DC a while back, hasn't come back yet, so it is actually a 4v4 despite the fact that Renekton is, Nautilus is so far behind. And the big thing is Tristana, that's their main DPS. And then we also have Renekton's going to be able to farm. But can Takashi get off the snare? There's the ultimate from Link. He is going to be throwing off a lot of damage, but then turning back into him is going to go down underneath this tower. There it is, the flash in from Takashi, able to pick up that kill. I don't know, Link getting a little bit too aggressive. Thought he had the kill. It was pretty close. But without Tristana in this game, Renekton is going to be able to farm. And I don't know. I feel like the Nautilus, the Tristana loss is probably a little bit more disturbing than the Nautilus loss. Like, it's tough to say. Udyr is going to have so much map control, can just dominate the game if he wants to. But the fact that, you know, Soraka obviously isn't going to farm that much, actually transitioning into AP Soraka, recognizing how much farm she's getting up top. We'll see whether or not Renekton can get them back into this game.
I've asked the admins if we're going to do anything about it, but I don't have any answer from them. So as far as I can tell, business as usual. And you know, a lot of people are saying really good things. Finally, a spectator client. Yay, awesome. But my number one has always been, give me a pause function, man. And
yeah, it would be nice to
reasons
have.
Exactly like this. Like, why does the tournament realm have it while us without the tournament realm get to suffer? I don't know. Just the way it happens to be.
I think the big thing is Riot has just, you know, for the longest time, they kind of have the opinion, all right, we don't want to release something unless we are very satisfied with the product and feel it's almost perfect. So there have been some issues with the pause function in the past. I haven't noticed any recently. Like, it seems to be, you know, everything's going fine. But if they have any qualms about releasing it or any issues, then obviously they want to, you know, address those before they let it back in.
Well, Parole's level 5. He's going to try a little bit of harass tactics up against Vec, but unfortunately, level 5 and short and stumpy up against the Crocodile, and yeah, he wins out these... He will win out these team fights if he actually keeps going one-on-one like that. Bloodwater coming back, should be able to transition very nicely, has a good amount of AP under her name, and now that Philostone will be able to let her ward a little bit, so they should be able to regain control of that lane. Does look like everyone's in. Does look like everyone's actually here.
Oh, but we have a fight going down top. Parole going to jump on the Vec, gets off some nice damage. There it is, the kill on the Vec, and now jumping onto Yoda. Yoda going to go down as well, tries to get the hook back to the tower, can't quite get it. So even though Parole was gone for a while, has a little bit of an advantage, yeah.
Just like that. 2 levels.
And that's the big thing, yeah, with the new changes to the experience. Now Tristana's back into this game. It's not really concerned. How much gold does she have? She almost has enough for a BS sword, so not behind it in farm at all, really. So it's really not a concern. So, I mean, it all comes down to how much aggression we can get out of oRb. They still have a pretty aggressive team, but it's pretty tough with a DC like that. And I mean, the big thing is we don't know whether or not the DC affected that first kill, because it started off with the reset, and so you know, if that reset was affected by a lag, then yes, but otherwise it was just, I mean, Fortnite was very on the ball as far as coming in to kind of not allow that. So I don't know, it's really tough to say. I'm assuming that the reset happened because of the lag though, and that's kind of really what set them so far behind in this game.
Admins are... I don't have anything saying otherwise, so on with the show. 8-1, 4-0 up, very early game. Bloodwater going to come up here, try to do a little bit of trading, because here comes Parole. Going to be very nice position. Bloodwater maybe taking a little bit too much damage, but there we go. Just heal yourself up, no problem. And now Vec not looking so hot behind that tower, 2-on-1 with a very long range Tristana. Yeah, she can just harass him at the day's will. Now you can see Lemon Nation over here by the dragon. Is he going to throw down a ward? Doesn't have a ward, so no ward for him. And Hood Stomp, I don't know, Hood Stomp is still doing exceptionally well. 130 creeps at 14 minutes. He has his own BF sword at this point. Pearl not able to land the kill up top. Cassiopeia roaming the jungle. She's a snake.
And even though Nautilus is so far behind, they have Nautilus and Renekton, so they have 2 tanky bodies up front. Nautilus, even without a lot of farm, you see he's got the 2 gold per 10s. He's going to be plenty tanky as is. He's going to have a lot of disables in the fight, and that's really the benefit of him. So they will have the farmed Kog'Maw. They will have these tanky bodies up front. And then Cassiopeia, you know, with the upfront damage, will prevent Udyr from being effective, will prevent some of them from being, you know, as effective as they would like. They have a lot of fight control with that Cassiopeia ult, so they can focus around Kog'Maw. So even though they're so far behind, they still have a lot of potential fighting capabilities. And Nautilus being behind, it prevents ganks from happening, but even so, once team fights start happening, they should be okay.
Well, tower down, interrupted a dragon attempt, but we did get our own blue buff. Lemon Nation, however, going to be falling under a lot of pressure from this Ahri. Here comes that Nautilus. If you can get a kill onto a level 11 Ahri, things will be good. But the Crocodile actually getting dived up top here. Is it going to be a little bit of a revenge kill up against one bad Brad? The artillery goes off, but he is just too fast. He's not going to be going down whatsoever. Parole doing an excellent rocket jump out of danger as well. So they dive in, get the Crocodile, and walk on out of there. Very commanding game presence right now for Fortnite.
Yeah, not losing that Oracles is huge. I mean, it was such an early Oracles. He's already paid off for it to such a degree. They have such map control right now. Tristana able to dive Renekton like that, and, you know, oRb not able to follow it up. Really, oRb, they need to kind of group as a team, and, I mean, they don't necessarily need to group. They can allow themselves to split push, but when they do have a fight like that, they can't be disorganized, because disorganized fights work to Fortnite's benefit. Tristana, in disorganized fights, she can be more aggressive, get in that short range, use her nukes more effectively. Ahri, obviously, in disorganized fights, won't go down and still has that great fight presence. But if oRb can get them to all group up under, you know, one small AoE or something, then oRb can very quickly turn the fights against them. This isn't the fight that they want, though. There's the charm going off on the Yoda, but he is going to pull away, and Fortnite going to be able to grab this dragon, continue their gold lead, continue their experience lead over oRb.
I like what they've done here. They've thrown Vec now south to go up against Zekin, and he is about 1 level behind, but that leaves a little bit of a sticky situation up top for Parole, because now he's getting harassed back by someone, you know, pretty much equally ranged and 2 levels above. So this could be turning out to be really good move. Really depends on how well Vec's going to do up against this AP Janna, who's rocking 3 gold pretends.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart, you know, lane switch. Vec should be okay against Janna. The big concern is that we do have an Oracles on Udyr, and so it's a pretty smart lane swap, but this is going to be such an aggressive lane top. We actually have Tristana jumping onto Hood Stomp. We have the heal going off. Yoda's actually in here, not able to get the hook, so Hood Stomp going to have to back off, but again, the concern is, even though Kog should have an advantage over Tristana, there's going to be a lot of aggression top lane, and they can't ward cover to prevent ganks from happening because Udyr has the Oracles. So how are they going to keep Kog alive when we're going to start seeing Fortnite pressuring that top lane? I don't know what the answer is. I think the key is for oRb to continue pressure all around the map by kind of split pushing and just continuing to push. You get, 1, you get to continue farming, but then 2, you pull the other team out of position. And so if oRb continues to keep all the lanes pushed, then Fortnite, obviously, they can't be as aggressive as they would like, because they're like, oh, this lane's pushing, well, let's go there. But actually, in the meantime, Udyr coming up top on the Hood Stomp, gets in the stun. There's the ultimate from Lulu, so he's going to be okay. Turning back into him, just going to farm. He's perfectly happy sitting there, getting his CS, backing off.
That was a big Kog'Maw. I always forget how big that thing get with the Lulu ultimate. But hey, Lulu ultimate now down, which means next time they do that might be a bit of a different story. But they are going to head on back. Very smart, very safe. They really don't want to risk anything at this point. 9-1 as the score. They're still 7,000 gold behind or so. Yoda now level 7, so at least, you know, he's staying in the game, not having any more of those shenanigans. And does look like Vec is able to just deal with it down here. I wouldn't say excellently, but he should be able to freeze these lanes well before they start damaging the tower, and his AoE plus his life regen will be more than enough to take care of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be fine there. The concern is whether or not Fortnite can take advantages. So Janna coming mid will be able to clear out the waves. That's actually one of the benefits of AP Janna. There it goes, the Whirlwind just, you know, able to freeze that lane for a second. So that's going to make it difficult for oRb to push. They do have the range of Kog'Maw, so they can get some harass onto the tower, but Janna is just such a great wave clearer. Tristana moving bot once again to, shut down Renekton. So Renekton finding difficulty getting, back into this game.
Well, a little bit of pressure mid. We do got Yoda trying to leech a little bit of experience back. He does need to make up a lot of lost ground. Lemon Nation here as well, so I was going to say if they want to put pressure here mid, I'm not too sure it's going to be too successful. Between Ahri and Bloodwater and the wandering Udyr, I'm not too sure that they'd actually be able to push in, but it does look like they're going to gather up, give off a red buff to Kog'Maw, who might be able to have some fun up top with Cousin. Or Zekin, not Cousin. Why did I say that?
But it's interesting. This game's kind of stalling a little bit from Fortnite, and we see Brad coming in, going to try and steal this blue. We have a couple of people from oRb here, but he should be okay. Should be able to get it. There it goes. He's going to be able to get out of there. So that's key. If they can keep blue off of Cassiopeia, that'll allow Fortnite to continue up with this pressure. Right now, oRb kind of wants to just sit back and farm, though. They have a pretty strong late-game team, so they're perfectly happy with that. And with the red buff on Kog'Maw, Kog'Maw can basically take anyone in lane. Like, no one can stand toe-to-toe with Kog'Maw, but we'll see, how Fortnite is going to continue the pressure, continue that extending that gold advantage.
Here comes one bad Brad with that Oracles, knows that they have no idea he's there, although we did have a ping going down. He does find Hoodstomp in the bushes, but there is a Yordle support, and he will be able to get out of that, no problem. Is Brad going to keep going? No. That would be a little too risky at this point, so he puts up the pressure, he makes Kog'Maw back off. Gives his solo lane a little bit of room to breathe. And down south, it is going to be Parole. What's Parole sitting at? 123 creeps now, so needs to catch up a little bit. Was AFK for a while. AFK.
I don't even know why that's funny. I'll go. I chuckled. I'll be honest. I gave it a
inside joke. No worries.
Little bit of a snicker. But it's going to be tough. I mean, there's the tower going down from Parole. He is going to be able to get an Infinity Edge shortly. How much gold does he have? He's got enough for the Infinity Edge. So that's the big key. Once you get the Infinity Edge, around 22 minutes is a little bit slow, but it's really not that far behind. So, even though he did DC, it's not really that much of a concern. Yes, Kog'Maw is way ahead of him right now. He's got so much farm, but with the 4 kills on Tristana, that actually brings him right back, into that farm kind of range. So it's really working out well for Fortnite right now, and it's going to be tough. I mean, we still have obviously a lot of great fight control from Orbit, and we'll have to see what happens. But as long as Tristana goes bot to not allow Renekton to kind of continue farming, because Renekton needs to get tanky fast. He's already got a lot of damage built up, probably a little bit more than I would usually expect. Is going for that Bloodthirster build, but I don't know. I feel like he's just going to be bursted down in these fights.
Well, we've been pretty successful in actually not really landing too many team fights as is. You should say it does feel like we're just kind of stalling, and you can see a lot of orbit now centering around mid. Where did Renekton go? Renekton went to town. Oh, that's not good, because we got pings going down for the Dragon, and you can see that Fortnite's really kind of massing up here in the river.
Yeah, and they have plenty of dragon control. They will be able to take this fairly easily. Orb coming in, so Renekton and Nautilus a little far behind. We'll see whether or not Takashi engages. Is a little bit low. We do have Soraka. There's the Whirlwind actually doing a ton of damage. One bad Brad going to be coming in on him. Takashi is pretty low. Will want to be okay there, but actually the heal and then the Janna ult will be fine backing off. Janna's got to get out of there, but Fortnite in retreat right now. There's the ultimate, so picking up Zekin. Yoda, even though he's behind, he still has that ultimate. And Orb, no one really going down. There's not, outside of Takashi, or outside of Bloodwater, sorry. I'm sorry, it is Takashi. Outside of Takashi, there's not a whole lot of burst damage. My eyes were playing tricks with me. So, I don't know, Ahri getting low early in that fight wasn't able to be as aggressive as they would like, and Hoodstomp perfectly fine with clearing some damage out there.
Well, gives them a kill on the table, brings them to a 10k gold deficit at this point. And, they still have to really stay in this center area. There's a lot of pressure going up by Fortnite, and this would be the last of the extraneous towers. It's going to be kind of hard to jump in there, though. Hoodstomp can just He can almost one-shot creeps after he crits at this point. What's he rocking for crit? 35%. It's pretty up there.
Yeah, he's exceedingly strong right now, and the concern is how are they going to engage on him. Udyr can't engage very effectively against a champion like Kog. Kog has too much range. We have, particularly when we have Nautilus up front and Renekton, so those disables coupled with, you know, Cassiopeia, like we said earlier, you know, Udyr can't play the anti-carry like he wants to. He's just going to be a tanky body, so that's a big concern for them right now. So if that's the case, who's going to get in on Kog'Maw? Well, it's only Ahri. Takashi X is really the only person who can engage on Kog'Maw, and he's not going to have enough damage to immediately burst him down because we have the Lulu backup. So Takashi doesn't have enough burst to take down Kog'Maw. Okay, so we've already established Kog's going to be fine in these fights. Well, what happens when Kog is fine in the fights and gets to sit there, just deal off that damage? He wins fights, so it's tough. I mean, Fortnite, even though they're so far ahead, the fight control from oRb is just taking control of this game right now. And Fortnite, they need to use their mobility to their advantage. They have the mobility from Janna. They have the mobility from Ahri and from Udyr. They need to pick people off and force fights that are to their benefit, because right now it's very quickly turning in oRb's favor.
Ooh, Vec just barely missing that tornado, but we got a lot of people really ramping up. This blue is going to be a big thing, and Takashi getting just really bursted down. They do get the blue. Yeah, they do get the blue. But oh my goodness, that was almost a deathly scared moment for Takashi.
Yeah, I mean, Ahri's ultimate is on a pretty short cooldown, but the issue is for the next minute and a half, Ahri's a non-factor in these fights, and actually Link just chasing him underneath the tower, throws off the ultimate, going to be able to burst Takashi X down. He will flash out of there, but Link very close to going down, does go down, and now Kog out of position. There's the Tristana jump on the Hood Stomp, so they've won this fight. We have the teleport coming in, so we actually have Parole chasing him down, gets off the red buff, then flashing after Elimination, able to pick up another kill, so there is a double kill. They will now be able to turn into Baron. They can do Baron very easily with Janna and Soraka, so that is just a huge fight for oRb, and it a little bit too aggressive from Link. It seemed like, you know, with the Takashi ult down, with the Ahri ult down, they'd be so weak right now, but it's going to be very difficult for oRb to defend this Baron.
That's weird. The hit points did something strange. Yoda coming in here, dropping very quickly, back to the bottom of the seat, and Renekton dropping as well. Did they get a kill? No. No, they did not.
No, they did not. So there, but that's what you have when you have a double support, and then, you know, someone like Tristana to be dealing damage. So all of a sudden, this game's making a huge swing back into Fortnite's favor. Orb, they almost had that mid tower. They really could have just sat back, taken that mid tower, almost taken the second mid tower, and just slowly allow the game to progress, slowly push further and further into late game, where they have more and more advantages as, you know, Yoda and Vec get tankier, and as Kog'Maw becomes more and more powerful. But instead, Link being a little bit too aggressive, and then Hood Stomp, because he was trying to finish the kill onto Ahri, got out of position, and all of a sudden now Fortnite, they are in such control of this game once again. It's going to be tough. Like, the team fights are, you know, oRb still has a really strong team fight team. That's what their team is built for. They have Lulu, they have those tanks up front. So it's going to be tough for Fortnite to burst anyone down, but at the very least, Fortnite now has pushing capabilities. They have Tristana coming back, going to clear these waves a little bit, but then Tristana has enough attack range that she can be very safe attacking the towers, doesn't have to worry about, you know, the zoning capabilities of Cassiopeia as much as a shorter range AD carry would. And Fortnite can continue to, you know, put pressure on once again, though it seemed like the game was swinging away from them.
435 ability power Janna. Just magnificent tornadoes just destroying creeps.
That's insane. I mean, and you look at the damage. You look at the damage on the Whirlwind, and it's 6 seconds. How many seconds is the channel? 4 seconds? So Whirlwind at full charge is like 700 damage right now. The W is like a 0.75 ratio, so that's like 600 damage on the W. So Janna has a lot of burst, and then to go along with it, you know, the shield. So she's still a support, but at the same time has a lot of that burst damage.
Bursty, bursty. It's, yeah, as I said, it's definitely something to behold. Fortnite has not really left the leader position of this game for a while. 13 gold up now and a 14-3 score with the Baron. That is going to lead one bad Brad to do a little bit of a death charge up against Lulu, but he does kind of see the error of his ways. Goes on back. Parole, however, maybe trying. Wow! There's no maybe there. There's no
and there's
maybe
the
there.
AP Janna with that Deathfire's Grasp, just instantly bursting him down. That was interesting, I guess is the word for it. But
There's a
Brad
reason it's getting nerfed. My goodness.
Yeah, Brad knows how strong he is. Well, I think the big thing is more versatility, and I don't think that Deathfire's was really overpowered. It's just they really wanted to open up more item options and make you kind of choose more. So I would probably expect a nerf to something like Rabadon soon.
Such a strong item when it came out. Still a strong item. Still ridiculous. It's looking very much like Fortnite's about to take game number 2, tying up the series. But they're going to take their time a little bit longer here. 15-3, 30 minutes in. A commanding lead of 15,000 gold. Able to chunk down Lemon a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We have a decent amount of poke from Ahri at this point because it's tough to engage from oRb. Like, if they get the hook on Takashi, then obviously, but they don't really have a good initiation method other than Yoda. And obviously, you know, it's a skill shot, so skill shots are generally easy to avoid. So Takashi can be a little bit more aggressive than you would normally want to be on Ahri and get off that front range damage. But the big thing is, again, with that Baron, with that inhibitor down, they have enough regen where they can just very slowly push down. And they have the Soraka coupled with the Baron. That's so much regen. So any damage exchange that doesn't result in a full-on fight is in Fortnite's benefit right now. So they can take this blue and they can just continue pushing right into orb space.
And that seems to be the name of the game, because who needs creeps to go attack a tower? Fortnite doesn't. That tower is going to be dropping very quickly. And yeah, orb not exactly in place to defend. Actually, we're going to get a few pot shots off onto Renekton. Need some new leather boots, but they're going to back off. Now, the longer that they can keep orb out of their base, the more pressure that top lane is going to become.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real strength. It's going to be so tough for them to push. We saw how strong Kog'Maw is, you know, in that previous fight, just wearing away at Fortnite, but now Tristana has caught up to him because of the 8 kills that Tristana has. So it didn't matter that Tristana DC'd. It didn't matter that, you know, Kog got the great early farm, because now it's completely even between the two of them. So I don't know that, you know, Kog, he has a slight damage advantage over Tristana, but when you couple the fact that the rest of Fortnite's team is so much stronger, Tristana just has such a huge advantage. Having the double support for him is huge. It's still, you know, oRb has a decent teamfight team. If they can get the right fight, if they can keep Kog alive, then they do have the means of getting to Tristana. They do have the means of disrupting Ahri and preventing them from dealing the damage that they want. So, you know, still, Kog'Maw should be pretty safe in these fights. And if they can pick people off or, you know, have a good engage, then they can still negotiate a fight. But the issue is that Fortnite can be very safe right now. They have great disengage with Janna, who can, I mean, Janna, if you don't want to fight as Janna, that's what's going to happen.
Oh.
Wow, that burst! Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so much for Kog in a safe position, huh?
But Janna shouldn't be getting that close. They need to pick off Janna in those situations. But the concern is obviously, well, guess what? We can't pick off Janna, because if we pick off Janna, then all of a sudden the rest of the team is going to kill us. I'm a little bit surprised that Ahri didn't jump in for that, but they know that they're very safe to just sit back here, play a very defensive game, slowly push in. But there's actually the ultimate from Link. There's the pull from Yoda. We have a full engage. The ultimate from Lulu coming down, and Hoodstomp actually getting in some great damage. We have some AoE from Janna, but it's turning back onto him. Can they sustain enough? One bad break, close to going down, but it doesn't matter. Parole jumping onto Kog'Maw, and now there's the charm. Yoda going down. Another jump from Parole, getting that red buff onto Lemon Nation. They will be able to push down this mid. He's jumping, seeing if he can grab Link there. It's not going to happen. We have the surrender, and the long, drawn-out game from the DCs. Really just a shame, but we are coming into game number 3. Really strong play from both teams, though. And even there were the early DCs, but there was a point in the game where it didn't really matter. Like, both teams kind of evened out. We lost some of the early game aggression that we would have wanted from oRb, but even so, they were able to, you know, pull it back to where it seemed like they were going to win for a moment.
I feel robbed out of that match. I just feel robbed. It was just, I don't know, DC's always put a bad taste in my mouth, but alright, game number 3. That is why we do these game number 3s, so that we can actually get a good match in. But wow, I don't think I've ever seen AP Janna quite as well as Zekant just played in there.
Yeah, it's just a lot of bursts. I think that's what you don't realize with AP Jan is how much burst you have, considering that she's also got that supporting potential. So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It'd be